There's a certain kind of person everyone secretly wants to become. The one who's never fooled. The one who reads a room in seconds, senses a lie before it's even finished being told, and always seems 3 moves ahead of everyone else. We admire that person. We study them. We try to become them. But almost nobody talks about what happens after you actually get there. Because being clever isn't free. It has a price, and the price doesn't show up right away. It shows up years later, quietly, in the relationships that thin out for no obvious reason, in the trust that stops coming easily even with people who never lied to you, in the moments of joy that somehow don't feel simple anymore. This isn't a video about becoming naive again. It's not an argument for turning off your awareness or pretending people don't have hidden motives. It's something most self-improvement content refuses to say out loud. Sharpness has a shadow. And if you're going to sharpen your mind, you deserve to know exactly what you're signing up for. So let's talk about the dark side of being too clever. The part nobody warns you about. Number 1. You stop being able to fully trust anyone. At first, reading people feels like a superpower. You start noticing the gap between what someone says and what they actually do. You start catching small inconsistencies that other people walk right past. And for a while, it feels incredible. Like someone finally handed you the manual everyone else has been reading without you. But here's what nobody explains. That instinct doesn't have an off switch. Once your mind is trained to search for hidden motives, it doesn't stop searching just because the person standing in front of you happens to be genuine. You start scanning your own mother's compliments for an angle. You start wondering what your closest friend actually wants from you this time. You start treating warmth the same way you'd treat a stranger's business proposal, with one eyebrow permanently raised. The same eyes that protect you from wolves are the eyes that stop recognizing sheep. And slowly, without ever noticing the exact moment it happened, trust stops being a door you open. It becomes a vault you guard. Even the people who never gave you a single reason to doubt them start feeling the walls you built for the people who did. Number 2. People start keeping their distance even when they respect you. Here's something strange about being the sharpest person in a room. It doesn't always make people gravitate toward you. Often, it makes them careful around you. Most people can feel it when someone is reading them. They may not be able to name what's happening, but they sense it. The slight pause before you respond. The way you notice things they never said out loud. The feeling that you're calculating one layer beneath the conversation. And that kind of discomfort doesn't invite closeness. It invites distance. Think about the advisors and strategists throughout history who were feared far more than they were ever loved. Being useful and being trusted turned out to be 2 completely different things. People will use a sharp mind. They'll consult it, rely on it, even praise it publicly. But very few of them will fully relax around it. And this is the part that stings most for people who never intended to manipulate anyone. You were only trying to understand people better. But understanding, when it becomes visible, makes people feel exposed. And nobody feels safe standing next to someone who can see straight through them. Number 3. You start performing even when nobody's watching. The habit of managing perception doesn't stay in the boardroom or the difficult conversation where you first built it. It follows you home. You start subtly steering conversations with your partner the same way you'd steer a negotiation. You start choosing your words around your own family with the same precision you'd use with a stranger you don't fully trust yet. And somewhere in that process, you lose the one thing real intimacy actually requires: being unguarded. Closeness isn't built on strategy. It's built on the willingness to be caught off guard, to say the wrong thing sometimes, to let someone see you before you've had the chance to edit yourself. But a mind trained in cleverness edits constantly, and it edits by instinct, not by choice. That's the quiet tragedy of it. You can become so skilled at managing how people perceive you that even the people who love you unconditionally never get to meet the version of you that existed before you learned to be clever. Number 4. You become addicted to control. The first time your awareness helps you avoid a trap, dodge a manipulation, or predict exactly how a situation is going to unfold, it feels incredible. That feeling of control is intoxicating, and like most things that feel that good, it becomes very easy to depend on. So you start needing to predict everything. You start needing to engineer outcomes instead of simply letting them happen. And uncertainty, which used to be an ordinary part of life, starts to feel unbearable, almost unsafe. This is why so many genuinely sharp people struggle to just relax. Their mind never stops running scenarios. What could go wrong here? What's the hidden variable there? What's the angle I haven't considered yet? Rest requires letting go of control for a while, and letting go happens to be the one skill a controlling mind never gets around to practicing. You wanted awareness. What you got, without ever asking for it, was a nervous system that forgot how to switch off. Number 5. Other sharp people stop seeing you as an ally. There's an old, uncomfortable truth about intelligence. It doesn't just help you play the game better. It moves you onto a different board entirely, one with far more dangerous players sitting across from you. Ordinary manipulation, the kind most people deal with, is relatively easy to spot once you're paying attention. But once you become known for being sharp, you stop attracting amateurs. You start attracting people who are just as calculated as you are, and some of them won't see you as someone to befriend. They'll see you as competition. This is one of the strange paradoxes of becoming too clever. The safer you make yourself from obvious manipulation, the more you find yourself surrounded by subtler, more dangerous games. Because the people who used to underestimate you now study you the exact same way you study everyone else. Number 6. You start applying strategy to the people you actually love. This is the part almost nobody admits, because it happens so gradually that you never notice the exact line you crossed. Reading people and using people are supposed to be two very different things. But the same tools that protect you from a manipulative coworker can quietly start showing up in how you handle your partner during an argument, how you frame a request to a friend, how you manage your own parents' emotions to get the outcome you were hoping for. And when that happens, love starts to feel less like connection and more like a transaction, even if nobody else notices it, even if you don't fully admit it to yourself. Because the moment you start choosing your words around someone you love based on what will move them in your favor, rather than what's simply true, something in that relationship quietly changes shape. Number 7. You lose easy access to simple joy. A clever mind is a mind that questions everything, and unfortunately, that includes the good things too. A compliment gets quietly checked for a hidden motive. A gift gets a second look for strings attached. Even plain, ordinary kindness starts to feel like something that needs to be investigated before it can be accepted. This is one of the costs almost nobody warns you about. You become someone who can survive nearly any kind of betrayal or manipulation, but somewhere in that process, you lose the ability to simply receive something good without dissecting it first. And joy doesn't survive dissection very well. It needs a little bit of innocence to actually land. Number 8. You start needing to win, even when the moment doesn't call for it. Somewhere along the way, a sharp mind gets used to being the one who's ahead. And that habit doesn't stay confined to negotiations or difficult people. It bleeds into moments that only ever needed your presence, not your analysis. An ordinary disagreement with someone you love turns into something you feel compelled to win. A casual conversation at a family dinner turns into a quiet chess match, even when nobody else at the table is playing one. And somewhere in the middle of all that winning, you forget that some moments were never meant to have a winner at all. They were just meant to be shared. Number 9. Loneliness stops being a phase and starts becoming a pattern. Because so few people can keep pace with the way your mind works, and because you rarely let your guard all the way down, your circle of people who truly know you tends to shrink over the years instead of growing. You may end up with plenty of people who admire you, consult you, and rely on your judgment. But admiration and closeness were never the same thing. It's entirely possible to be the most respected person in every room you walk into, and still go home to a kind of quiet that feels heavier than it should. Number 10. You start losing track of who you were before all of this. The mask of strategy, worn long enough, stops feeling like a mask. It starts feeling like your actual face. Years of managing perception, controlling your reactions, and staying 3 steps ahead of everyone can slowly blur the line between the person you actually are and the character you built just to survive. And one day, often much later than you'd expect, you catch yourself wondering which one of them is real anymore. Here's what almost nobody says clearly enough. Cleverness was never supposed to be your entire identity. It was supposed to be a tool you pick up when you need it and set back down when you don't. The goal was never to trust no one. It was to trust the right people completely and everyone else appropriately. The goal was never to control every outcome. It was to stay calm when you couldn't. And the goal was never to disappear behind a mask of strategy. It was to use that strategy only when the moment genuinely required it, and to remember, underneath all of it, who you were before you ever needed to be clever at all. Awareness protects you, but awareness without boundaries slowly isolates you. And the people who actually age well with sharp minds are the ones who learned at some point to lower the shield on purpose with the handful of people who actually earned it. If this made you think about your own walls, the ones you built for good reasons that might now be keeping out people who never deserved them, that's worth sitting with. If something in this hit close to home, let me know in the comments which point felt the most familiar. And if you want more honest breakdowns of human psychology, the kind that don't just tell you what you want to hear, subscribe, because we're just getting started.